We're now joined by student athlete Zaya Cook with South Carolina Gamecocks, and we'll go straight to questions. Our first question will come from Joe with WIS TV. Please unmute your microphone. And as a reminder, please state your name and affiliation before asking your question. Joe, go ahead.
Zaya, Joe Gorcho, WIS TV. First of all, congrats on a great season. I know tonight didn't end the way you wanted to. What has this team and this journey meant to you, though?
It meant a lot, mainly just because I know how hard we work. We were right there, so it's tough, but I know we're going to come back stronger and harder next year.
Our next question comes from David. Go ahead.
Hey, Zaya, David Cloninger with the Post and Courier. You see both of those shots go up in the final seconds. Any doubt in your mind that one of them was going down?
Yes, I definitely thought Bree had a good look. We got a good steal. It was in our hands, but we just came up short.
Our next question comes from Samantha. Samantha, go ahead. Please unmute your microphone, Samantha.
It's actually Mitch Brown, Watch Fox, Columbia, South Carolina. Zaya, thinking back to that last play, how long is that going to stick with you, and how much is that going to motivate you guys and the team going into next year?
I mean, it's going to stick with me because, it was a big game. Final Four, it's a dream to be here. So it's just going to motivate us all to, like Coach said, we're going to work on the little things, what we can do better to get here next year and come out with the victory.
Our next question comes from Tego with News Stitch Media. Go ahead.
What have you learned about yourself overcoming adversity this season?
I've learned a lot with COVID. Just things aren't normal. So I've learned a lot. I don't know.
Our next question comes from Danny Thompson. Go ahead. Danny, can you unmute your microphone and ask your question? Last call, Danny Thompson.
I'm sorry, Zia, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Danny Thompson, three-point conversion. Great game tonight. I know the season just ended, but what is the one thing you can take from yourself into next season to make yourself a better player? What's the one thing you need to work
on? Right now, I can't really tell you. I just want to come in as a better player, a better teammate, and do everything I can do to help my teammates out. I just want to be a better me.
Our next question comes from Greg Hadley. Greg, go ahead.
Hey, Zai, it's Greg Hadley from the State newspaper. Kind of going off of that, before that final quarter, it seemed like you guys really showed a lot of mental toughness coming back, getting yourself back in that game. Just how proud are you of the fight you guys showed?
I wasn't surprised or anything like that because that's what we do. We're a hard-working team. Everyone wants to kill. We had it in our eyes. We wanted it. We just came up short.
Our next question comes from Cam. Cam, go ahead.
Hey, Zaya, this is Cam Gaskins with ABC Columbia. Knowing how much of this team is coming back next season, what's the biggest thing y'all learned in your first exposure to the tournament that's going to help you get over the hump next year?
It's a lot of games, so we just got to make sure we keep ourselves healthy, drink a lot of water, do the little things to keep our bodies right so we can go out there and play.
Our next question comes from Joshua. Joshua, go ahead.
Joshua Louder Television Network. Zaya, you seem to get good looks just shooting the ball tonight. But what are some takeaways that you probably wish you could have had probably back from tonight's game?
The turnovers. I had a few missed box outs. I gave up a few three-point shots. Yep.
Greg Hadley, go ahead.
Zaya, with about 1:30 to play, there was a turnover where it kind of seemed like it may have hit the Stanford player's foot. What did you see on that play?
It hit her foot. They didn't call it a jump ball. That was it.
We have time for a couple more questions. If you have any, please use your raise hand function now. Our next question will come from Mike Gillespie. Go ahead.
Hi, Zaya. Great game tonight. I just wanted to ask, what did you say to Aaliyah? Did you have a chance to talk to her after the missed shot at the end? And do you plan on saying anything to her?
Yeah, I plan on saying something to all my teammates. Just keep them encouraged.
Saya, thank you for your time this evening. There's no more questions. We'll now hear from Dawn Staley. If there's any questions for Dawn, please use your raise hand function now. Dawn, thanks for joining us this evening. Our first question will come from David. Go ahead, David.
Hey, Don, David Cloninger with the Post and Courier here. You know, those frantic final seconds, just how much did you draw it up to have that pressure on the ball to steal it? And then, what were your reactions when you saw both those layups go up?
At the point of about 13 seconds, we had to foul. And then once we fouled the first time, the second time, we just kind of went all out and tried to turn them over to see if we can just at least get a shot at the basket. We got a pretty decent 2 looks at it. Layup, follow up. I thought about the UConn game. Really, I thought it was going to be redemption for Aaliyah, just for that ball to drop in for her. But it wasn't in the cards for us. We gotta give God the glory in victories and defeats. But I just told our players that the margin of error is that small. It's that small to competing for a national championship, winning a national championship, and it won't be our last time being in this situation. So next year we just got to practice with that margin of error in mind.
Our next question comes from Greg Hadley. Greg, go ahead.
And you talked about the redemption from the UConn game, and you talked a lot about the mental toughness that this team has shown, throughout this tournament. What did it show about them to come back from 6 points down, to have a chance to be in that position at the end?
We never flinched. Although we turned the ball over at certain times, they got out to they widened their lead to 6. Even with us playing probably not the best basketball, but we did enough to put ourselves in a position to win the game. Look at all the stats. We out-rebound them. We made more threes. We attempted more threes. We got more offensive rebounds. We had, less turnovers. We get to the free throw line. The difference of the basketball game, when you look at the stat, is they're second chance points. And a big one hurt us at the end of the game, in which we took the lead and we couldn't come up with the ball, although we had our hand on it. Haley Jones ended up with the ball and just kind of threw up a prayer and made it difficult for us to get out of that hole.
Our next question will come from Joe. Joe, go ahead.
This is Joe Gorcho from WIS TV in Columbia. Congrats, Dawn, on a great season. I know this isn't how you wanted it to end. Just looking ahead to next season, tonight with Aaliyah in some foul trouble, Stanford outscored you guys by 14 when she was on the bench. Just looking ahead, what do you feel needs to go differently in the offseason to make sure there's not that much of a gap difference if Boston has to sit some minutes in games like this?
We're not going to anticipate her sitting like this. She's not one that gets herself into foul trouble. I do feel like Aaliyah Boston is one of the best players in our game, and she should be able to be on the floor for as long as it takes for us to play games. That's one. 2, we have to crowd her space a little bit more. She's got to work a little bit better in double and triple teams. But I'm proud of her. She improved, and it's hard to see when great players improve, but you saw that over year 1 and year 2. We'll continue to get better. This experience has been great. We got some young guns coming in that will help us. I told our team, hopefully in the future we can be on the other side of this emotion.
Our next question comes from Cam. Cam, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, this is Cam Gaskins with ABC Columbia. You've told us a couple times this season how hard Aaliyah is on herself after losses. So when you see her having that chance and that shot not going in, you see the emotion and the pain on her face. What do you say to her in a moment like that?
I mean, it's tough because it's it's real personal to her, I mean, it sticks with her. I mean, it's part of the game. It's part of the game. One or two moments like that don't define who she is as a player. So I hope that she'll get over it. She won't for a long time, but for what she gives us, she had 16 rebounds. I mean, 16 tough rebounds. And where she was crowded all night, they schemed for her. They had a game plan for Aaliyah Boston when she was on the floor. And when she's off the floor, it gives a team a huge advantage. And we had to sub her in and out at the end of the basketball game in the fourth quarter. And, when she was in there, she gave us an opportunity to close the gap and win the game. An attempt to win the game.
Our next question comes from Joshua Louder. Go ahead.
Joshua Louder, Television Network. Coach, just how does this opportunity right now, whether it's in the win or in defeat, how can you use this as a teaching tool going forward with your team?
I mean, the teaching tool is, we're inches from competing for a national championship on Sunday. That is the margin of error that you need to practice from. That is, that is that. That the lesson, if there isn't a big lesson in that, we'll put ourselves in the same position or worse.
Our next question comes from Pete. Pete, go ahead.
Hey, Don. Pete Yakubelli from the AP. Did you see that non-call on the kickball, and what did you think about that at the end?
The officiating, they got a tough job. A tough job, because there are dreams on the line. Everybody wants to compete for a national championship. I saw the kickball. I didn't make a big deal out of it. But I don't know what you want me to say. I can't say much about it, but besides, they got a tough job.
Our next question comes from Rick Henry. Go ahead.
Rick Henry, WIS-TV, Columbia, South Carolina. Don, congratulations on another great season. How would you sum up this season? I mean, all of the adversity, you had some very great moments, and then to see your team fight to the final second and just suffer that heartbreak at the end.
I am super proud of our players. Super proud. They are highly competitive. They want to win. They don't like this emotion of losing. But every single time that we've lost, and that is, I'm just going to talk about the 2-year span. We lost to Indiana last year in the first month of the season, and then we never lost again. And then we come into the season and we lose, our 5th game of the season. But every single time that we've had a setback, we've gotten better. It's unfortunate that this setback will be an entire offseason, but we will get better. We will get better so, we can arm ourselves with what we need to reverse us losing basketball games in this moment in the way that we did. So I am proud. I am honored to coach our basketball team, and I look forward to getting back to the biggest stage of women's college basketball.
Our next question comes from Matt Ward. Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Matt Ward, CBS Sports and the Next Hoops. Just a quick comment about Zaya. She had 25 tonight. She had 3 turnovers, and that's what she was upset with after the game, which I think says a lot about her. Can you just talk a little bit about her performance tonight and just how special you think she is?
I mean, Zaya is built for the biggest stage. The biggest stage. I mean, she was up to play. Shots were falling for her. She got great looks. She created great looks. She's probably a little down on the turnover that happened late in the fourth quarter. In those instances, they're good. They'll be good teaching tools. But she put us in a position to win the basketball game with some of the things that, she did for us on both sides of the basketball. Proud of her. She'll come back a much better basketball player because she's, her trajectory is headed in the right direction. And so we look forward to, again, her being on this stage and her performing the way she did.
Our next question comes from Josh Kendall. Go ahead.
Hey, Don. Josh Kendall with The Athletic. It didn't come out in the wash, but Destiny's shot. Did you get a good look at that? And what kind of shot, what does it say about her to step up and make that shot?
Destiny is she's a gamer. She played every minute of this basketball game besides 50, 40, 32 seconds. We need her on the floor. I just wish she was shot a little bit sooner. Shoot in the first half, shoot in the first quarter, shoot in the second quarter, because she has a beautiful shot. But I'm glad she shot when she shot and gave us an opportunity to win. She put us up by 1. We just couldn't close the deal.
Our next question comes from Carter Hill. Go ahead, Carter.
Hey, Coach. Carter Hill with Fifth Quarter. Congratulations on a great season. My question is, you kind of piggybacking off of an earlier one, how do you want this team at South Carolina to be remembered 10, 20 years from now?
Of course, I want to be remembered as being one of the best teams in college basketball. But in order for us to do that, we have to win. We have to win national championships.
Our next question comes from Michelle. Michelle, go ahead.
Yeah, Michelle Vopel, ESPN.com. Dawn, congratulations sincerely on a great season. I know it may be hard to think about this right now, but what about just the excitement factor of this tournament? This game, I think, went down to the wire. We've had some other ones in this tournament, and it's been a really high entertainment factor, if you will. What does that mean, especially in this year when so much attention has been given to the fact that the women's game hasn't gotten a fair shake in a lot of ways?
We put a product on the floor that if you give us a chance, you could be proud of. The casual fan, the dad that likes to sit on the couch and watch sports all day, to the young, to the old. When you find you a team, when you find you a women's basketball team, and you support them in a way that you support whatever is your favorite team, you'll find that your team is probably a pretty darn good basketball team, and then the people that they play, their opponents. And you'll fall in love with our game because our game is a beautiful game. It's a game made up of awesome women who can flat out shoot the ball, create space for rebounding, dribble the basketball. Some of the plays that Zaya made, most men can't make that play. That snatch back, crossover dribble, pull up. Most men can't do that. And you saw that today. You saw Haley Jones play an incredible game out there driving the ball to the basket, hitting game-winning jumpers. You saw us fight back from 6 down and put ourselves in a position, get a steal, and go in for a layup. We missed it, and Aaliyah Boston has the gall to chase it down and give us a shot at a putback. All the things that happen in any game played on any court. But sometimes we have a willingness to just look at women and think we can't play. Well, you're missing out. You're missing out on some great basketball.
Our next question comes from Greg Hadley. Greg, go ahead.
Hey, Dawn. I was just kind of wanted to circle back to something you said earlier about you guys actually hit more 3-pointers than Stanford. I mean, was that kind of surprising to you? Was that part of the game plan? And how excited are you by that? Just, you guys can shoot threes too.
Well, I mean, you look at the entire stat sheet. I mean, we actually get more offensive rebounds than them, but they scored a third of their points from offensive rebounding. I mean, we shoot the heck out of the three. I knew we would be in a position to hold them from attempting three-point baskets, and that is what gave us an opportunity to win. I felt like if we allowed them to shoot their threes, we couldn't generate enough 2 points. But we held. It was a direct opposite. So I'm proud of our team. We took great shots. We disrupted. We disrupted a team that usually scores a little bit more points, usually scores a little bit more from three. The game plan was beautifully executed. We just couldn't put enough points on the scoreboard.
Our next question comes from Elliot Allman. Elliot, go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Don, Elliot Almond, San Jose Mercury News. Did Stanford pretty much play the way you expected? Sort of a piggyback off what you just said. And I'm just wondering if there's anything that surprised you, or you had a great game plan and sometimes you just don't win.
I mean, they played their game. I mean, they backdoored us a few times. We ran them off the 3-point line, so we knew that was going to take place. It's just we knew they would have counters to it. I just thought that Haley Jones was a problem for us. She is a guard. We had our post players match up with her most of the night, and she took advantage of that. I thought when they went big and put her at the three, I thought it was a perfect matchup for Bree Bill, and I thought Bree Bill did a great job on it, except for we couldn't come up with an offensive rebound on one of their last possessions. So I just thought it was a great executed game on both sides of the ball, and we lost the way we did, and it's heartbreaking.
Next question comes from Danny Thompson. Please unmute your microphone and ask your question.
Coach Staley, Danny Thompson with the three-point conversion. Outstanding season and a great effort tonight. As you look towards next season, with a lot of the returning core coming back, how excited are you to get back in and get prepared for an upcoming season? Because I know you don't like to lose. How exciting is it to have the majority of the team returning next year?
We look forward to having our team back, and we look forward to our off-season workouts. Obviously, we got to give them a week off, and we'll get back into the swing of things and see if we can get a couple of a week or two in postseason to work on some things. But this team is it's a together team. It's a team that gets along extremely well. We'll bring in some young pups, and hopefully they can help us create the competitiveness, that environment that we need to compete at this level, and I so look forward to it.
Our next question comes from Pete. Pete, go ahead.
Hey, Dawn. I know that you wanted it to be you guys who were thinking about Sunday night, but with Tara getting the chance Sunday night in a year where she kind of set the all-time record, I mean, you talk about how she's been an influence in the past. I mean, there's got to be some good feelings about that when you think of the whole picture.
Yeah, I mean, Tara's been in this game. She's given, her entire life to women's basketball. Her being the winningest coach is only indicative of what work that she's put into it. I mean, she's a savant when it comes to this game. And it's taken 25 years for her to get back in this position to compete for a national championship. And I think 29 years ago was against, we lost to them in the semifinals, just like we lost to them today. I was hoping that we could somehow send her home, but, she lives for another game. and I'm sure she'll be prepared for Arizona or UConn.
We have time for 2 more questions. The next one comes from Mike Gillespie. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Mike Gillespie from ABC Columbia Sports. You said earlier that Aaliyah will probably think about that missed shot for the rest of her life. I'm wondering, from your experience, what can you do as a coach to help her move on and try, or at least try to move on and compartmentalize and realize that there's more basketball to be played?
You gotta replace it with other great moments. Aaliyah's wired that way for a reason. She's a perfectionist. She is one that really studies the game and thinks about the game, and she holds herself to a higher standard. And that's not part of her standard. So that's why it hurts so much, because it's something that she practices all the time. But it wasn't in the cards, and we'll talk to her and try to get her to move off of it. She won't, because she's wired. She's just wired like that. I don't think it would impact her if she's in that situation. I don't think she would change her shot if she thought, oh, I could miss this. She's not that type of player that's gonna, allow that shot to impact her next shot or her next move in the journey that she has in basketball. But when she's back in her room, she's gonna cry. I know it. She's gonna cry. She's gonna cry a whole lot. But when it's time for us to pick back up and get on the court in a couple of weeks, she'll move on.
Our final question comes from McCollum. McCollum, go ahead.
It's actually Mitch Brown, Watch Fox in Columbia, South Carolina. Coach, just piggybacking off of that, I was just going to say you've been through heartbreak before as a player in that position. How long did it take you to kind of grieve or mourn over that game and kind of, get past it?
I want to say this before I answer your question, Mitch. I just want to thank Lynn Holtzman, the committee, NCAA committee, all of San Antonio for hosting us and making us feel special while we were here. Thank the state troopers who got us to the gym and wherever we needed to be, and all the organizers that helped put this tournament on. I know we're in a pandemic. I know that we had to bubble up in a hotel, but it certainly felt like a Final Four when we were everywhere besides in our rooms, which is a really cool thing. And then, to answer your question, there are plays in my career that I think about. 29 years ago when we lost to Stanford in the Final Four. The officials called the game off, and I thought there was more time. They ran in the tunnel. I ran after them, got them, said, "Come on back. You gotta look and see. There's more time left on the clock." They put more time on the clock. We played that, 0.8 seconds left, and we're down by 1, I believe. And in that instance, I'm like, they put a fresh body on me. Someone that didn't play the entire game. She came out, I guess she, is Angela Taylor. She was just fresh. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I broke away from her and just heaved up a shot. But if I thought about it, and I'm like, I could have gotten her to foul me. She's so fresh and she's so gung-ho about denying me the basketball. I should have started my breakout and stopped. And she would have just actually ran me over. And I could have just kind of lied down and faked the foul and went to the free throw line. So that stays with me. That's 29 years later. But from 29 years ago to now, there are so many great memories that replace that. And it only comes up when I'm asked. So Aaliyah will get over it. Aaliyah is a great player. Aaliyah will come back stronger, better. And, if she's ever put in this position again, she'll knock it down.
Can you hear me? That's it, Coach. Can you hear me?
I just now can hear you. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you very much, Bryce. Congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
That's it for this post-game news conference. A recording of this press conference will be posted in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you for joining us this evening.